Now, yes, the title says it is easily possible to attract £10,000 per month if you do this correctly, and also if you look after your investors in the right way. Obviously, you be able to create great systems and processes. So I think this video here, which is episode 3, I really wanted to talk about what to offer, and it's more around the systems and processes as a kind of service accommodation rent-to-rent deal sourcing company, right? Because a lot of property sourcing company, they're sticking to the basic of, yeah, we're a sourcing company, we need to source a unit, but there's a lot more than that, because an investor, and I've seen it firsthand working with different people, going, and where did you get this unit? Oh, it was sourced to us. And I'm like, yeah, but you've now paid them 3,000 or whatever that is, and your property is not performing. What are you going to do about it? And most of the investors are taking the blame themselves, and eventually that's a disaster, where I know that in 3 to 6 months time the investor is not going to make it work, because they haven't got the knowledge behind how to operate a successful short-term renter business. So I think it comes with the challenge itself there. But I think the only way, if you're loyal to your investors, if you are really looking to kind of create a structure in the business and the system, and I'm so happy that in this video I'm going to go through exactly what you guys need to set up to get that £10,000 deal over that 3 deals per month, and break it down to exactly how different you will be. And as long as you invest time to set this up, you can go tomorrow and sell this, and you'll be able to be so unique, because the other sourcing company that they're working will pretty much 99% of them will not offer this service. So without further ado, let's talk about the 3 services that you're going to offer, and how you're going to offer, and what processes and systems you need in place. So firstly, the usual stuff, sourcing. Now, when you're doing sourcing, I want you to understand this investor is coming blindly understanding your figures. Now, obviously, they're going to do their own due diligence, but one of the things I realized was my deal analyzer, when we had our letting agency, was so interesting. It was, going into the details of guest behavior, Monday to Friday, contractor stays, what can we achieve? It's not just like, oh, this is the nightly average rate, this is what you can charge an Airbnb, this is what other... No, you've got to go into the detail of, if you just get weekend bookings for the next 4 weeks, this is the potential nightly rate that's been marketed. If you are just below the average, you've got to set up scenarios every single opportunity. In the deal analyzer itself, you also want to be able to talk about direct bookings, because you can't just give someone a unit and say, hey, chuck it on Airbnb and booking.com and hopefully you get bookings, because at the end of the day, there's a lot more cost involved in that process. And again, you as an investor, if you're watching this video because you're looking to work with a property sourcing company and want to understand what they should offer, this is exactly what you're looking for. A deal should be presented in a very detailed manner, not just, hey, this is the average, this is the low, this is that, this is 70%. It doesn't work that way. They've got to set scenarios, they've got to set guest behavior. What if you get longer term booking? What if you get shorter term bookings? It's got to make sure that these are fully done in properly. Now, you as a sourcing company, you've got to create this doc urgently. You might have a deal analyzer already, but add more tabs and give something so unique that nobody else can offer. Now the fun begins, because I think most of the deal sourcing company is sticking to the same thing, which is they've sourced a unit to an investor. They now sit back and go, well, you can deal with this, right? Now, one of the things I realized as a part of, if you're a sourcing company, you should be able to consult your client on numbers of things. Firstly, a full launch pack. It doesn't take a lot of time nowadays to put a launch pack in, especially you need, if your end goal is for your investor to make money and you found them a great deal, then you need to be able to give them that pack, so then you can leverage the story of their success. I mean, you also want to understand what's the best practice for an investor when they are hand over to a letting agency. Now, I'm sure you as a sourcing company would have already told them, look, I'll need your referencing for this, and this. These are the things I need. If you can't do salary, you've got to have savings and numbers of things, right? Because agents work differently, landlords work differently, the referencing packages itself is so different. So you've got to put something like a best practice for investors. So when you do a handover, rather than you explaining them, you've sent them a checklist to say, hey, have you got all of this ready? Let's get this ready. So they're completely engaged, they know you're professional, they've got everything they need. Now, 3 things I want to advise you is create a before signing the property checklist. So when they go and view that property as an investor, and before they sign that property, you want them to check certain things again, so then that you are trustable fully. Now, if you give that and you've done your work properly, you shouldn't hide anything, right? So you should be able to go, hey, this is my before signing the property checklist. As an investor, obviously I've done all my work, but I would love you to check this. Great tool. Again, great trust building. Again, if you're having a conversation with an investor initially, this is a great tool for you to share. After that, you have what I call before signing the property. Let's say it was all going through, you're in a signing process and ready to pick up the keys. You need to make sure that you have a checklist, which then again educates investor on what are the steps they're going to take in this process, right? Very easy. Things like, remember, if before they're picking up the keys, if they've already signed the agreement, they need to make sure cleaners are in place. They need to make sure the person who's going to take the photos are in place. There's so many things that investors will not think about because it's their first unit. So it's always great to put everything in place so then they can leverage your knowledge. You then also have a checklist of setting up period. Now, I would love you to think about 7 days, because if you as a still sourcing company and a sourcing company telling an investor, hey, you can do it in 7 days, the likely chances are they're going to launch that property very quickly. The property will start making money and you will have a great success, right? It's no fun then launching a property, getting the booking, you've done the sourcing, calendars are full, and the investors are really happy. And last but not the least, a week one checklist. Things like, look, people forget to go and update their council tax or business rate, update all the bill companies, like little things like that. It needs to be given on a checklist so they're fully prepared. And you as a sourcing company, it's just literally a checklist you're offering, and you can replicate that with as many investors as you would like. Finally, we come to the marketing their property or marketing and launching with them. See, one of the things I've realized with many new operators is the only way they're going to launch property is either they're going to ask someone or watch one of our video in GrowYourBnb, because we've done a free video. But really, I think it goes back to, if you're there with your investor launching that property, and nowadays we've got Zoom, don't have to be with them all the time. As soon as the photo is ready, you just need to sit down with them and do it. Now, especially, look, if you are new to this business and you're looking to get into sourcing, you also want to know how a property launch works. No better way than launching it with the client themselves, because it will truly give them the risk factor for someone to say, hey, I've offered you £3,500 on a sourcing fee. They will love that because you're still there with them while you're launching that property, and it becomes a lot more understandable for your investors to say, I want to spend that £3,500 because Chris here is actually looking after me while launching the property too. And that itself is a very big win. The second thing I would love you to do, and look, you can go back and watch loads of videos on my channel about direct bookings, but put a direct booking checklist and a handbook and a guide for your investors, so that from day one, they're not relying on OTA only, they're actually thinking about a new ways of getting bookings in their property, which effectively will make you successful, because the quicker the property are full, the quicker the property is actually making money, and the quicker they get direct bookings, you're going to be incredibly happy, rewarded. And again, the trust factor, right? The trust factor from an investor coming back and saying, yeah, actually, that was worth investing £3,500. So guys, this was episode 3 on what we discussed about aiming to make that £3,500 for your client, especially on what to offer, the system, the processes. Now, on this video, I've explained to you everything that you need. All you need to do now is go into more detail, setting it up together, putting a systems and processes in your business, and replicate it with as many investors as you would like. So look, firstly, if you're new to this channel, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. I've got so many videos like this in my channel. I hope this video gave you a true understanding of the process. I'll be back with another video soon. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe.